Previously in X-Men, after about a year away in outer space and a year away in top of the list Canada, Savage Land, Japan, Scotland, and back in America, the X-Men and Professor X are all finally reunited. Everyone knows that the other is not dead, which is great. Makes for happy times. And the X-Men are on a mission to recruit 2 new mutants to the school. And this is the first time we've seen New Mutants join the X-Men since the beginning of this amazing YouTube show, which I still say is the greatest X-Men live stream on a Tuesday night in the world.
Can't be beat.
Can't be beat. They're all back together. They're recruiting new mutants. It's very exciting. They split into 2 teams. One in New York to recruit the Dazzler, who dazzles, and one to Chicago to recruit the young Catherine, Kitty Pryde. And things don't go well on either front. They are ambushed by Emma Frost and the Hellfire Club. And in New York, they weren't Mandroid armors, but they were like armored goons of the Hellfire Club. And the X-Men in New York barely escape with their lives with the help of the Dazzler's dazzling powers. But the X-Men in Chicago, in specifically the suburb of Deerfield, were captured. And the only one who is not under lock and key with their powers depleted and their minds scrambled by Emma Frost, the White Queen, is 13-and-a-half-year-old recruit Kitty Pryde. What shall be done? We will find out today in episode 40 of Previously.
What? We've been doing 40 of these things?
Where we read issue 131 of Uncanny X-Men by Chris Claremont and John Byrne and Terry Austin. I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanagan.
And we are a group of 7 comics. We make comics. We love to talk about comics. And on this show, we talk almost exclusively about the X-Men. Chris, my friend, how are you?
I'm good. Bit of a long day, but excited to talk X-verse tonight. This has become a favorite night of the week for me over its 40 episode run. So I know I just enjoy catching up. And we got Jason Lowe. Happy 40, X-Friends. Thank you, pal.
Jason, I hope you're recovering well and you're feeling good.
Absolutely. Trevor, 1-6 shooter. It's X-Men Tuesday. Hells yeah, it is.
It is.
Like X.
I never thought I'd be as excited for every Tuesday night as I am. I'm like checking my watch at 5:30, like making sure.
Like, when do I log on to go in the green room behind the state? Like, what do I do?
It's on my mind constantly throughout the day. Like, are there new voice performances that I need to practice, or accents I have to try and perfect without being too offensive, or
sure,
And I'm thinking of, like, with my dinner, is this food gonna impact the show? It is. It's disturbing the amount of thought that gets put into the minutia of something.
I love now where I will say to my family, "Well, I've got to do my show at 9 o'clock, so you have to, either go upstairs and because I do this in the kitchen, obviously, but
yes,
I go upstairs and go to like the TV up there or whatever because Daddy's got his show at 9 o'clock, kids." Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fun to throw your weight around, isn't it, Chris? Jason says he's back at working on an X-title comic and listening to X-Friends talk X-Men.
That's triple X, buddy.
That is, that's a pretty sweet deal.
We're in Vin Diesel territory.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So, Chris, I was just saying to you before we started, if you heard the X movie news or the MCU.
100% no. I just watched Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness.
Great.
Weeks ago, and we have no spoilers, but Professor Xavier was in the trailer and was in the movie. And so we had that fun X insertion in that movie in the MCU in Universe 868. I don't know whichever one that was. That is. So it was great to see him, and it was great. So I am jazzed for you to tell me any news. Oh, I also watched Miss Marvel, and also last week finished that, and it has little
yeah,
little
it's disguised, but it's there.
Yeah. So anyway, those 2 things got me excited about X news for the MCU. So what you got?
Well, and I've already forgotten my sources on this, but I'm just going to cite Comic Tropes as Chris Pierce from Comic Tropes was the one who reported it on his live stream last night, but he cited sources, so I'm not going to, because I'm just going to go vicariously through him. That it's just a rumor that there won't be an X-Men movie until 2025 because the actors' contracts go that far, and they kind of have like exclusive contracts for those characters.
Oh.
So if they cast somebody new in those roles, they have to pay twice.
So, for example, the actors who were in the more recent X-Men movies, they have exclusive rights to Cyclops and Phoenix or whatever till 2025.
Yeah, they're paying them until 2025 anyway. So,
right. Huh.
So this is what we've heard. Again, this is sort of rumor. It could be totally true and substantial.
You wearing an Optimus Prime t-shirt, by the way?
I'm wearing.
Sorry. Yeah, you are. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is from Kevin.
Nice.
Toying Around's collaboration.
I don't consider you like a Transformers fan, but that looks great on you.
I'm glad you don't consider me. Like, I'm gonna just like your lack of consideration is disturbing.
Every day.
I am a Transformers fan to the extent that I watched the TV show, the original one.
Yeah,
early.
G1. Yeah.
And I watched the movie regularly. I think I've watched it within the last 6 months. I must say the movie, I mean the animated movie from the 80s.
Right.
And I have a few still Transformers remaining in my home, in my collection, including the G1 Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And X-Friends Transform.
Well, there is that, right? There's like the Blackbird Transformer, which is like, right? That came out a couple years ago, where it's like the Blackbird ship and transforms. And it's a crossover Hasbro thing.
So I'm like an 80s toy fan too.
Yeah.
And I also like geek culture, graphic tees, and I like my friend Kevin. It's all those things combined. I really do love like heroic archetypes, and Optimus Prime is forget about the transforming and all that stuff. Like he's a really cool looking design. I've said before, like the action figure, the transforming one is a terrible superhero action figure. Like he can't even stand. He collapses back into the tractor trailer or the truck form all the time. So I ordered a Super 7 Ultimates Optimus Prime, about yay.
Yeah.
A great stance to him.
Cool.
Heroes World and Markham. Cheers.
There you go.
Yeah, so I'll get that one.
So then back to the X-Men. The news is that there won't be a movie till 2025. At least.
Right. Then again, if you think about it, I mean, it's money on the table that they're going to leave in the big picture, because you're only going to get so many years out of a franchise anyway.
Okay.
And let's just say an actor, name it, any character, whatever, they're gonna max out at 50. I'm just making that up, okay? So if you have the ideal person to cast and you wait until 2025 to get them in production, you still lose them when they hit 50. So actor salary, we're talking about Disney here. Like we're not talking millions. They make billions. So maybe you eat it on a couple salaries to move ahead with bringing in like all these great characters and getting fans riled up in the best possible way. I don't know. I don't think they'd make the decision over $50 million. I think they would. I don't know. What do I know? When have I ever gotten to juggle those kind of numbers in real life? All I know is if I was in charge, I would just buy out everybody and move forward and make those movies.
Do you have an X-Men movie in your head as part of, within continuity of MCU? Do you see a natural insertion point? Do you see in your head a space for a shared universe with them? And what's that storyline to you? If you have one?
Okay. So I'll keep it as short and sweet as I possibly can.
The
short answer is no, but I understand why. So in my head, they still are kind of separate universes that once in a while intersect. Because even within the comics,
that's gonna go on all night.
Even within the comics, they always felt like there was a different DNA to the characters.
Okay.
So, the original X-Men are a Lee Kirby product, like the rest of most Marvel, including and Strange and Spider-Man. But the Lee Kirby thing is really the foundation of all of it. The X-Men that we love is not a Lee Kirby thing.
Right.
It is a second iteration or a third iteration that comes from, Len Wein and Chris Claremont and Cockrum and Byrne. And they feel like they are not Generation 1 Marvel characters. They feel like something special and slightly different. That being said, I also have always had trouble, before the movies come out, like in what order you introduce things. The FF isn't in the movies yet, but they are the first Marvel, of Marvel comics.
Is that 2025 too, Fantastic Four?
Let's just say yes, because I've already forgotten.
Sure.
What it will be at the end of phase 5. Anyway,
Right.
It's neither here nor there. I'm just saying like that they've already put things out of order in terms of when they come into the universe. Spider-Man comes in way late, all those kinds of things. So I often, like, one side of me has trouble coming to terms with that, but they win me over every time.
Sure.
So I kind of just, hands are off the wheel because I don't actually have hands on the wheel at all. I just embrace
I'd be surprised if you did.
I embrace the MCU and whatever they're going to throw at me. And I give, a fair shot to everything they make to win me over and make me care about a character. And if they can make me care about a character, whether it's in my headcanon's order, it doesn't really matter anymore to me. I don't need them to recreate the comics continuity in film form because I can just go back and read the comics anytime I want. So I don't really think about how they're going to bring them in. I don't want to think too much about if they've been there the whole time, why haven't they been helping? Like, the question always is, where were you when Thanos came? Like that, they've set that up as a problem.
Right.
They did a great job, I thought, of like making it so the Sorcerer Supreme, the Ancient One, was there when New York was being invaded.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Right, that was like a really great little thing to show that, yeah, she was actually helping.
Yeah.
That kind of thinking I really like.
We always talked about how cool it would have been, and I'm sure maybe people in this chat would have had similar thoughts. But yes, when they go back in time to the Battle of New York and the Ancient One is there, it's a super cool thing to put in there where she's defending Sanctum Sanctorum. But how we always thought we wanted to like look down an alleyway and see the street level heroes, like Luke Cage, the Charlie Cox Daredevil, like either protecting someone or helping someone get away, But that was always the Easter egg, like but
clearing people out of rubble.
Yeah, exactly.
Any of that stuff. So the X-Men to me, would have been, and the FF would have been. So you bring them in later, it kind of changes their standing within the universe. The Avengers are not the first team. They're like, anyway, it's a different thing. So I don't think too much about it. They'll win me over when they make the stuff. So what about you? Is there a way in that you have on your mind?
No, I mean, not off the top of my head. I think I'm really. I mean, now that they've had back-to-back releases, both the TV series and Doctor Strange, where they've explicitly referenced the X-Men, and now it just ramped up. Like, it suddenly went from like, well, we own the rights now. Everyone got really excited, right? To then like, oh, now we've got some shows where. Right, they set up Madripoor, exactly, Trevor. Like, that's already there, right? And certainly, I think there was some Wolverine Easter eggs in the Winter Soldier Madripoor stuff, like a bar where he goes to or something, right? That was like, so they've thrown some of that stuff in. I just feel like, yeah, maybe they were, like exactly where were you in Thanos of it? They were kicked off into a side dimension to like fight. Right. And they've come. I don't know. You can always. It was super fun to see the Professor X. As Professor X in that version in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Like, to even say, and this is Professor X of the X-Men. Like, even like the intro, was like, this is making me super happy.
It was very cool. And Trevor's mentioning Wolverine here. Do a Wolverine movie and bring him in to the X-Men at the end. All that stuff. Like, we know that they can't work around Wolverine being old. Wolverine has to be old. That's part of the character. So where has he been this whole time?
Right.
And
with Alpha Flight. That's actually the movie. That's the movie.
I'm cool with whatever they decide to do.
Marvel's just gonna throw us a curve and be like, "We brought Alpha Flight into the MCU." You're like, "Yes, you did."
Now on a tangent a little further, I also have this fantasy about the 80s and 90s team, given that the Avengers are 2012.
Right.
The team that's in the 80s or 90s, where it's Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
And throw in Thor, or I guess not Thor, but
T'Chaka.
And then throw in T'Chaka, right? And maybe you throw in Hercules instead of Thor as your deity, your demigod muscle. And I just wanted one more character on there, and it just seemed like, oh, that's an 80s, like it's an Avengers team. I'd love to see that adventure happen. So I like the idea, and I'm cool if they want to say the FF have been gone since the 60s. Whatever they want to do, I'm cool with it.
It'll be now that we've had. I think the thing is we've had so many X storylines examined and put on film.
Dead. What do you mean dead?
We killed him. He in his happiness. It'd be interesting to see. Right, we've seen the Old Man Logan a little bit. We've seen the Dark Phoenix a couple of times. We've seen some of those Hallmark stories.
Yes.
So it'd be interesting to see if they avoid them, reference them, leave them out altogether, try something new. Hey, Emmett.
Emmett.
Hey, buddy.
Come here.
What are you sniffing?
There's a whole bunch of stuff on the floor here for him now. He's been hanging out here. He's got a shoe. He's
living his best life.
He's living a great life. He's a very happy boy. But I'm going to leave the door open so he can come in and out.
Nice.
Do as he pleases.
Oh, here we go. We got
what David say. Wolverine's an undercover guy before the fight with Hulk, so you could easily be out there in the shadows. For sure.
Now, how cool would that be? Is like that's how he's introduced. He fights Hulk.
And I love the idea that he, is in a background scene.
CBC Gym. I think they're punching way above their work weight with Disney Plus.
Yes, Alpha Flight, a co-production between CBC Gem and Disney Plus. That would be fantastic for those of you in the States or another country. CBC Gem is the online streaming version of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which is our publicly funded, our government funded, taxpayer funded broadcasting, which is a Canadian institution that we love. There you go.
Exactly.
It's one of the most idiosyncratic parts of Canada is CBC.
Sure. Yeah.
Logan did a secret mission with Carol Danvers back in the day, for sure. I think they were more than just doing a mission. I think that those two were you talking comics or in the movies? As a movie idea, that's great. I'm all down with it. Of course, in the comics, they weren't partners, but they went on many missions together for when she was an agent.
What about go back even? I mean, Cap 40s.
Right. I want to see someone do one of those.
Wolvie's somewhere out there.
Like zoom in on a picture of Cap in a raid on, storming one of the beaches, working with the Marines and such, and Wolverine's there. I love it. I mean, they did that on Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, where James Howlett is part of the landing party, and it was really, really awesome. Reference in X-Men 154, the comics that Danvers.
We're going to get there. We're going to get to 154 in about 20 weeks.
Yep, absolutely. So Danvers and him have history, which is great. It makes it exciting. Boy, there's so much to do. Oh, and there. Oh no. Hello there, Kevin. There.
Showing up.
There we go.
There
Warming up this Prime, buddy. So hello there. I was talking to Kevin today.
Were you?
Yeah, just texting him that that he's not annoying.
Oh, I think
a lot of
stories.
A lot of YouTubers who do action figure reviews can be pretty obnoxious, and I find it sometimes hard to get through the videos. But I was saying to him that he's not so annoying that I can't get through his videos, so I appreciate him.
Nice.
Yeah, nice warm compliment for me. So the issue at hand.
Here it is.
Boom. X-Men 131. It still says it's 1979. but that's just the cover date on it. It really is like the end of the decade.
Mm.
These issues really are the start of the 80s and the start of 80s Marvel comics. We're in full flight with Jim Shooter era comics, and he's editor-in-chief at this point, I believe. We'll find out when we flip, I think, the first page. He's editor-in-chief. And X-Men is the #1 book for Marvel Comics. It's it's super exciting stuff. It's a great time to be watching the show and reading these books. I'm so happy. It was a nice thing anyone ever said to you. I do enjoy your channel a lot, Kevin. So if anyone out there hasn't checked out Toying Around, it's a great channel. His reviews aren't annoying. No, sometimes people just get a little over the top and they go way overboard being a character and not being a sincere version of themselves. And I find that the ones that are most sincere are the ones I enjoy the most. So there you go. In this issue, what we're going to see again, we're like into the Dark Phoenix Saga. We're a few issues in. When things are collected, Kevin just has you on mute in the background. There you go. Smart. What was I going to say? When they collect this book, when they collect these issues in a trade for Dark Phoenix, like these are part of it.
Yeah.
So even though it doesn't say on it, it's a Dark Phoenix Saga, and there's no like reference to it. These things are brewing in the issues, which is great. All the pieces are there. Oh, Kevin says, Trevor, that's what I do, bruv. Okay. No comment. We'll leave it at that, guys. Leave it at that.
Nice to see a lady villain on the cover.
A lady villain, yes.
A lady villain. A villainess.
Yes, and I think, who was it who was saying to me online? Was it David? Was it you saying she looks like a bird? Or someone, maybe it was Shay who was telling me on Facebook it looks like a bird. She looks like a bird.
Like with
I see it, like she's about to transform into like Snowbird,
Right, yeah, it's got that bit of that. Yeah, I get that. Especially the forehead space, like a lot of, that's what Snowbird always says. Evil staring. She can win any staring contest. That's how she got
intense. She's looking very intense, which is good because she should be kind of hypnotizing and a mesmerizing villain, which I dig. Definitely not a sign like the way that again she's drawn and the way that we eventually get her as a member of the team. She really goes from being called the White Queen to just being Emma Frost. It's like that becomes her name later on more prominently, and she's much prettier. I don't know. Like here, she's creepy pretty.
Right. Is she ever? And this is a serious question. Is she ever drawn not in a sexual way, like sexualized? Is she ever? Do you know what I mean? Like, is she ever have like a different costume or suit that's? I mean, sure, I'm sure it's sexual in a way, but not overtly. Do you know? Like throughout from here to the current incarnation.
No, she's either wearing the corset and
like the stiletto boots and the
yeah, always. Okay. David Cutler says, if I had anything to say about this cover, it would all be focused on the sexy go-go dancer cages.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be a really funny alternate version of this cover. Would be like having them dancing while they're back there. Yeah,
Wolverine's been dancing so long he's tired out. Look at him in the back there. It's like I just can't keep doing the monkey.
Yes, exactly. Like you're saying here, Chris. Sweatpants and a baggy tee.
Just curious.
I'm sure someone has drawn it somewhere, but we're focused on these issues from the 70s and 80s. When we get there, we'll call it out. We'll call it out, Kevin, if we ever see it, but it won't happen now.
I do like that look of Nightcrawler in the shadows.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
We saw this kind of image before where he's running up the wall, and it doesn't really look like he's running up a wall because Byrne decides to draw it as if we're up the wall ahead of him. So the perspective isn't as dramatic as if he had changed that angle. But anyway, recently, David says, Emma attributed her time as a sneering villain to being out of her mind on drugs throughout the whole era. Cocaine, children, cocaine. Don't do it.
That's what I just switching companies for a minute here. If everyone's reading Catwoman Lonely City, Cliff Chang's book, that's the Riddler's response. he's all tamed now. And they go, "You're so tame." He's like, "Oh, I was just doing tons of coke back then."
Yeah.
It's just like makes so much sense.
Great book, by the way. I'm
Yes.
really enjoying it, and I'm a little disappointed. I think it's not coming out till October. Is the last
Yeah, I
issue?
guess part 4. Yeah. Anyway.
I want to read it, man. Yeah, exactly. She's the White Queen, implying
White Queen. Good one. See,
okay.
Good one, Graydon. Nice.
Glad you're here, man. Glad you're here. All right, let's dive in.
Here for all your coke jokes and needs.
For sure. All right, let's. Ooh, stickers.
Yeah, this is cool.
These are Chiquita banana stickers?
Oh, not the stickers. I thought you meant the heads as kind of
oh my god
floating heads, but those are Chiquita banana stickers.
My brother and I had a thing about collecting banana stickers and putting them on the bottom of the drawers in our parents' kitchen. Right, there you go.
Sure.
Right on the nose. Everyone's
good one.
We all get it. Yeah, exactly. She's the White Queen.
Keep them going.
My brother and I, so if you looked, you had to pull the drawer out and go underneath to see where the stickers were. So my parents never knew we were doing it. But it was like a joke that we had that we thought it was awesome.
You too.
And if we had seen these stickers,
yes,
these little raccoon stickers, oh my god, we would have gone crazy. I'm gonna have to send this to him. He'll be so happy. I got to see if I can buy them on eBay for his birthday. Oh my goodness. I guess Gene was doing black tar heroin. What? Oh my goodness. Terrible. So we get a nice fun splash where, modified splash, I guess you could call it, where the floating heads, which I'm a fan of, like that's really DC Silver Age stuff for me, where they were doing that with the Justice League and the Justice Society and like the roll call.
Exactly.
And that's a very cool thing. I love Byrne's faces of these characters.
Yeah, they look great.
And of course, we mentioned before that the only one not captured in Chicago was Kitty Pryde, who is not even a member of the team. She was just, they went to go recruit her. So this is fun. So run for your life.
Run for your life.
We don't get that huge description up at the top. Is this the first time?
You're right. It might be the whole Children of the Atom thing.
Yeah, neat. Mm-hmm. This is good. I like it. I like the idea of the change. That Olympic raccoon. Really special stuff. Like Placid. Important time. We can talk hockey for the rest of this. Okay, here we go. The time is very early Sunday morning. The place, a back alley in Chicago, just off the loop. Lots of times tonight, Kitty Pryde thought she'd given her pursuers the slip, but each time they found her again. Poor kid.
13 and a half.
In the last few hours, she's discovered reservoirs of strength within herself she never knew existed. She's tapped them all. And here we get another, an example of Byrne using, the flat panel bottom almost as the ground. He loves
as
to
the ground, yeah.
Yeah, that's like a John Byrne trope. As they smash through some garbage cans. Cash.
Always garbage cans.
But she's only 13 and a half. She can't keep this up, can't keep this pace forever. And there she takes a tumble, right?
Yep.
And as she's about to get run over, and I really could have used one more panel on this set where she's, covering her face or something, but there's only so much room. And this guy driving the car, I don't want to look ahead to see if he's named, but if he's not named, then he's definitely Cutler. So here we go.
Okay.
Also, for those who have not watched all the episodes before, it has been a ridiculous trope of Chris Claremont's to name random extras and goons.
Yes.
Like anyone driving the car gets a name, and they're inserted into the dialogue awkwardly and really obviously, and it's been a source of pleasure for us. So we'll see if that trend continues. The kid ain't moving. I think we got her. Hey, what in heaven's name is that?
It's Phoenix, one of the X-Men. She dropped out of nowhere between us and the girl. Run her down.
Run me down, gentlemen? Somehow? I don't think so.
Who? That woman just waved her arms and the car stopped like it had hit a brick wall. What am I going to do now? Oh, Lord, I'm so scared. I'm trying to do what's right, but, Guten Abend, Fräulein Pryde. Don't be frightened by my teleporting Liebchen. I'm one of the good guys. We spoke on the phone. Let's be off, shall we?
quick interjection. There's a misspelling on Liebchen.
Is there? Oh, yes, there is. I know.
Yes. It doesn't mean. It actually is a different word in German. It's like a like a frock or like maybe a bib.
Okay.
A certain kind of bib. It doesn't mean like a darling or Anyway, just a misspelling. So they take off, right? Because last issue she called. She was given a phone number from the inside liner of Storm's costume. And
that's where you keep your phone numbers.
Yes. And she used the phone to call the limo in New York and reach
Rolls. It's a Rolls.
Right. It's a Rolls Royce. Very specifically a Rolls Royce. As Nightcrawler scrambles up the side of the building, rushing his young charge to safety, Cyclops and the woman called DAZZLER join Phoenix in the alley below. I trust you'll think twice about hounding mutants in the future.
Phoenix, are you all right?
Never felt better, Cyclops.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I say, wow. Cyclops said Phoenix telekinetic powers were impressive. I never dreamed. Compared to this, my mutant ability to create fancy light shows is nothing.
Do you want me to do Cyclops? Or
sure,
whatever?
you do Cyclops.
Okay.
Go for
it. What have you done? I told you to stop that car, not turn it into instant junk. You didn't feel the girl's stark terror, Scott, or the thoughts of the killers chasing her. I'm a telepath. I did. These animals got no more than they deserved. I thought I'd seen Jean in every conceivable mood, but this is new.
Cyclops, get up here fast.
It's Nightcrawler, Jean. Sorry, it's Nightcrawler. Jean, give us a lift. David Cutler says it looks from all the empty space under the indicia, not including the X-Men blurb, was a fairly last-minute decision. I wish I'd seen that before. Yeah, very possible. Very possible. Chris's Nightcrawler is made up for the absence of Banshee. I agree, Trevor. I agree. even though there's misspellings. With a nod and a smile, Phoenix wraps her companions in a telekinetic energy field and takes off. What's wrong, Nightcrawler? Where's the girl?
Good question. She broke away from me when we landed and dove right through the roof.
Well, then she's definitely the neo-mutant Professor Xavier and the other X-Men came to Chicago to find. Jean, can you track her telepathically? Yes.
I feel like that yes should be like, yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah. It was guest introduction there. I feel like that
was that a Nightcrawler reading? As if it was in German?
No. That was Danielle. Just
yeah, I know, but I thought she was doing it in a German.
Wasn't. Yeah, but I feel like that voice should be like how her sound bubbles are like have a darkened edge to it.
Yeah,
like Phoenix from
She'd
be like yes, right? Like Jean, can you tell her? It should be like the most guttural demon. Oh.
I would love it if we had like a demon effect on her voice. But I'm into it in my head. I don't know if I could. Good. You're the most normal looking of us. You'll have to handle the initial contact psychokinetically, rearranging the molecules of her Phoenix costume into a set of street clothes. Jean begins her search of the warehouse loft.
Someone's coming. Mustn't make a sound.
That's the right idea, kitten. Except against a mind reader like me, your thoughts stand out like a beacon. Tell me, what's a nice kid like you doing in a place like this?
Oh!
Easy, kitty, easy. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're among friends. I'm Jean Grey, one of the X-Men. Remember, you phoned us for help.
X-Men?
Kids.
You know what's interesting, by the way? So you know how she calls her kitten. So I know that's a common use. Later, Storm often refers to her as kitten, right?
Right.
I think this is the first time they use it though, within this, this series of books. Yeah, and it's Jean who says it. It's not Storm. Anyway.
Right. And well, she's also reading her mind, so she might know what what her mother or father calls her to be sweet.
Right.
So maybe we could do the Jean reading where we read at the same time, and it sounds like some sort of strange phased voice.
I'm willing to try.
That would be. Sorry, I'm gonna choke. That's too funny. I'm into it when we have to do some Phoenix stuff. We can give it a try. I love the fact that we get to collaborate with people in other places. That's a lot of fun. So Kitty hesitates for a moment, and then she collapses into Jean's arms. All of the accumulated terrors of the last 12 hours pouring out of her. Like that's really scary that she's been running. I mean, 13 and a half.
Yeah.
She's been running from professional killers for 13 and for
guys like Cutler.
Guys like Cutler, professional killers. And it's dangerous stuff. So I like the fact that Claremont like leans into that when he writes. I enjoy it. It's a while before the X-Men, Dazzler, Kitty, and their prisoners return to the mutants' skyship. Hidden deep within a woodland park lining the shore of Lake Michigan. I love how they have like an alien spaceship. You know, like that's hiding in the woods, and I'm sure someone's going to come across that. Chicago is a busy, busy place.
There's got to be some like teens out there drinking, being like, "What is that?"
A spaceship. When you do Dazzler, are you doing her like she's what's that character from the Muppets? The one who plays.
Hey man, yeah. She plays guitar, right? This is crazy, man. I started out last night to break into the New York disco scene, and now I'm suddenly fighting alongside the X-Men. I don't think the little Fraulein likes me.
It's true. I love the body language of Nightcrawler there. It's really great. Yeah. Like he's such a fun character for Byrne to draw, I believe, because he gets to, and every artist afterward, you know, they have him upside down or hanging from things. He just gets to take on different posture, and it makes him a lot of fun to cartoon. Most of these are only scrapes. They look a lot worse than they really are, but some of these cuts are pretty deep. Sing out if I hurt you, Kitty.
Okay. Anyway, Aurora and Colossus and Wolverine and I were at the malt shop.
Reading porn.
Yeah, well, Wolverine was. Because where else can you get it, you know, easy access and not a milkshake place? Right. When these creeps busted in on us, I got away, but the X-Men and Professor Xavier got captured. They were taken to this big industrial park just outside the city. I kind of tagged along. Aurora gave me your phone number, told me to call you guys to come rescue everyone. I did. I've been running ever since.
We were attacked too in New York. Janice is her name from the Muppets. Janice. I'm wondering if like hippie maybe isn't. Maybe it's like
we've tried everything and we're all out of ideas. Exactly.
I wonder what the voice is for Disco Dazzler. Anyway,
happy to hear suggestions.
Yeah, for sure. I'm through tangling with shadows. Mind scan our prisoners, Gene, and find out who we're up against.
Okay, you ready to do this together?
3, 2, 1.
As good as done.
Hold on. You go low, I'll go high.
Okay, ready?
Like there's a feminine voice in it, and you're the weird monster effect. Okay?
Do it.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
As good as done.
The goons' minds are shielded, but with an ease that defies description, Phoenix slips past their mental defenses and, in the blink of an eye, learns where the other X-Men are being held and how well that complex is defended. She learns that they were struck down by another telepath, a woman named Emma Frost, one of a group of wealthy industrialists who seek preeminent social, political, and economic power in the world.
Is an industrialist ever portrayed as a good person? I feel like industrialist as a descriptor is always like, whoa, those industrialists.
Yes, I don't know what to say.
All right.
I do think though our Phoenix voice will improve.
I think so too.
You went very slow and staccato, like it's slow and stilted.
Yes.
And I was expecting more of the monster, like the. We'll see. We'll keep trying it when we get there.
As done.
That's right.
Yeah, that's there it is next time.
But is it? Can we go a little faster with it? But anyway, she's just done. Okay.
Okay.
I like this drawing of Jason Wingard's face
Mhm.
inside of her. And it's weird to see that circle right through the page.
Oh yeah.
It's the previous page, right? It's
Right.
the what is it?
It's it's this O, isn't it, from the ROM thing here?
Yes, it's the Owen Rom.
Space Knight.
Very cool. The Hellfire Club, Jean thinks to herself. But in my time slips, the psychic flashbacks I've experienced lately, I've found myself living the life of an ancestor who was married to a member of that club, a man named Jason Wingard. But I've recently met a modern-day Jason Wingard who is a dead ringer for my ancestor's husband. What does it all mean? Is it a coincidence or... Jean, are you okay? One.
Oh, okay. I'm fine, Scott.
Oh my god. Okay. Are we gonna try this?
Sure.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I'm fine.
I'm fine, Scott.
I
I have the information you need.
Yes.
I think I just need to find some sort of microphone effect. Or you need to, like, one of us can do this sort of doubled up sound effect. I think it's very possible. So I don't want to go into this too much more, like into the narration here, but basically she recreates the car.
Yeah.
Which is
unbelievable.
Smashed.
Yeah.
And she puts it back together, which is an unbelievable feat. And comments. Jason Lowe says Louis Armstrong. Exactly. And David Cutler, yeah, it had to be you. Exactly. You guys are bang on. No one ever thought Phoenix was like a mix of a couple things, and one of the ingredients would be Louis Armstrong. And here's where you get an example of these guys getting named.
Yeah.
Here comes Sal. I wonder if they found the kid.
Peter, my man. That little brat got away, but I figure what we caught will make more than make up for the loss.
The X-Men. How'd you do it, Sally?
I'll tell you later, Elton, over a brew. Right now, all I want to do is get these muties under lock and key.
So now, of course, all I want to see is the follow-up comic of Sally or Sal and Elton having a brew.
Yeah.
Like,
so Sal, there I was, right? You know how I likes to be there, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay.
My man.
My man.
So we're to understand also that this guy, Sal, is being manipulated. Like, he's not really awake and doing this.
Like a puppet.
He's a puppet, which is insane. Her power level, that she's able to figure out how this guy speaks and make it convincing and drop the name Elton and know the other guy's name and have it all flow and have the car hold together. Like, really, really crazy, crazy power level and proficiency. David says it's crazy they can recognize each other from a distance while in a car wearing those masks.
Well, isn't my main man Sal?
That's very true. I'm going to allow this. I'm going to keep my suspension of disbelief intact. The rest of the X-Men captured. Most impressive, especially since Salvatore's team was not equipped to tangle with them. Everything looks normal enough.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'll pay no mind.
Salvatore.
It's clearly under control. I also noticed now, like in that panel above that, they go to Frost Enterprises with the big Frost. And you always got to enter someone with a big name there.
Yes, Frosty Frost.
Frost.
Yes. But I'll call out the guard just in case. If your friends are planning any nasty surprises, Storm, they'll find the Hellfire Club ready for them. In the meantime, we'll continue with your examination. You know, Aurora, you really mustn't fight my psychic probes. The harder you resist, the more this will hurt. I don't want to hurt you, my dear. I want us to be friends. But while all eyes are on the X-Men, coming in the front of the complex, no one notices Kitty Pryde sneaking in the back. in a style all her own, trying out a first attempt by John Byrne at his updated Fantastic Four costume that he will eventually unleash upon the world within a few years.
I was
This is
wondering
a Mark 1.
Okay, I wondered about that.
Oh, it's Salvatore now. That's fancy.
It is. Well, that's what happens when you catch the X-Men. You go from Sal to Salvatore.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Aurora's gone. I gotta stay cool. Cyclops said it's okay to be scared as long as I don't let my fear foul me up. Cyclops also gave me a real important job to do, and he's trusted me to do it right on my own. I mustn't let him down. If I couldn't free Storm, I'm supposed to try Wolverine next. She even zonked out he looks spooky. I wonder if I reach, maybe I can gimmick it. Whoa! All I did was touch it and it popped open. What'd I do?
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I also love Harry Wolverine, of course.
Harry Wolverine is great. You ready? The next, we get some awesome Harry Wolverine on the next page. Not that one. That's hairless Wolverine. But we do the Harry Wolverine. He's almost completely hair, actually. He's almost all hair.
Yes, it reminds me of me in my 30s.
Yeah, exactly, right? I don't know, and I'm not wasting any time trying to figure it out. Criminy chickers. Wolverine's not much taller than me, but he weighs a ton.
You're the kid.
Kitty Pride.
Why is it so flaming hard to think?
It's the cages. They make you dopey, but you're outside now. You should be okay.
Give me a minute, will ya? What are you doing here?
I'm rescuing you.
All by your lonesome?
Of course not. The X-Men are with me. Yeah!
Kid!
Okay, Muty, now climb back into your cage nice and slow like, unless you want some of the same.
Sucker, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. And the last. And he's
such a great panel.
Fucking happy to do this.
Yeah.
Like he's holding a very injured child in his hand. And he's like, he wants to kill these guys, and he's like excited to kill people.
I feel like that panel too, that image I've seen before. And maybe it's because he's done it before where he's maybe holding someone with the claws up, but it does feel like that. You just made your last mistake, your biggest mistake,
Oh yeah. And these guys are dead.
Oh, they're dead.
Oh, they're dead. And well, razor sharp adamantium claws spring from Wolverine's hands, and he cuts through them like a hot knife through butter. And their guts are on the floor, and no mop on earth will ever be able to clean them up. The stain of blood will be on that floor for the rest of eternity. At the front of the administration building, there's Sal's car. Our backup hasn't arrived yet. Our backups haven't arrived yet, Cam. Think we can handle it?
Jacko, you keep fretting like that, you'll give yourself an ulcer. Stay on your toes and follow my lead. Any of those muties so much as twitches, blow them out of the socks.
How do you decide what voice to do for these guys? Like,
I don't know.
It just comes out of nowhere. Like
it comes out of nowhere. What do you do? Use words like Sal in New York. There you go.
So we've got Cam, Jacko, Sal, and what was the other guy?
Elton.
Elton. I got a special delivery for the White Queen, Cam.
So I gather we got to keep your passengers on ice a while longer, Sal, till the escort show.
It's Sal again. Sorry, I forgot.
This taking any chances. What's that?
I just forgot that it was Sal. Keep going.
Oh, yeah. She's rolling out the big guns for these freaks.
Looks like we've reached the end of the line, Gene. I'm in telepathic contact with Nightcrawler and Dazzler, Scott. As I am with you. Everyone's ready. Good. Because the fireworks are about to start, he thinks very intensely. Nice. Suddenly, Cyclops looks up, opens his ruby quartz visor wide, and an awesome, irresistible beam of pure force blasts out from his eyes. Krakow. That's interesting. Okay, fun.
Great blast image. Interesting choice of sound effect.
Yeah, odd. Definitely. These optic blasts are both Scott Summers' mutant power and his private curse.
Ooh.
For they cannot be controlled save by his visor or special ruby quartz glasses. Still, they're very useful in a fight. Are you ready to be dazzled?
Whew, we all are.
Look at those colors. I'm feeling it from a distance.
Yeah.
Before the guards have recovered, guards named
Sal.
Cam, Jacko. Before the guards have recovered from the shock of Cyclops' blast, Dazzler moves into action, drawing on all the sounds around her and converting them into radiant energy. She creates a light show so intense and beautiful the guards' minds cannot cope with it. In other words,
she melts their
brains. In other words, they're dazzled. Aww. Wink, 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 wink.
Also, engage roller skates.
Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome. Take off, X-Men. You know what to do. Roller skate away.
Roller skate away, X-Men.
How Starfire's there all of a sudden?
Yeah, totally.
Do you see it? What I'm talking about?
Like the hair with the
Yeah. Also, she's orange.
Yeah, that's Salvatore, Mister.
As she's done before, Phoenix mind links Cyclops with the rest of the team, keeping them all in constant touch. This predates Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Now it's not so impressive that everyone can talk to each other all the time, but back then, in 1979, this was breakthrough technology. Very cool. I also love, when they have Nightcrawler in two places at once on a panel. Makes me happy. And look at the way those guards are positioned. See the body language on
it's because their minds have been melted. They're
dazzled.
Right.
That's what a person looks like.
I want to believe that they're in some kind of euphoric state, but I feel like they're just goo.
A euphoric state of dazzlement.
This
time, strangely enough, Cyclops finds that the process makes him feel uncomfortable.
Ooh.
I can't get over how easily Jean reassembled that car with her TK powers. I've never heard it called TK powers before in this series. That's crazy. And then manipulated that unconscious driver like he was no more than her puppet. Every word, every move came from her, and she pulled it off without a hitch, without a strain. I should be proud of her. Instead, I'm frightened, as if this is the beginning of some sort of long descent into darkness, like a saga of some kind. I'm terrified.
What? The alert siren? We're under attack. It's the X-Men.
Obviously, Cutler, you fool. Don't just stand there.
Cutler,
you and your men are supposed to be the best combat troops money can buy. Here's your chance to prove it. Use any means you have to. Only stop the X-Men. And she almost looks like Wild Child, like Byrne's drawings.
Yeah, totally.
She's getting creepy looking. Cutler! Jason Lowe is on board. He understands. It is so cool to have your name in a comic book. I think there's never been a character named Jason, so it's hard. Careful, father. It seems your friend's Trojan horse Gambit has paid off, Storm. By the way, this panel is the inspiration for the character of Gambit. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
Because they'd never, Jim Lee had never heard of the word before. And so anyway, go on. But I dropped the comic book on a whole bunch of action figures guns. I have a whole stash of weapons on my desk here to use for reference because, and I just dropped them. But Cyclops and the others have a long way to go before they reach this lab. That's more than enough time to teach you and them a lesson they'll never forget. All they'll find when they reach this chamber is a mindless thing, human only in physical form. You, Storm. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Is that
so? Who? Phoenix! The one and only. And you're Emma Frost, the Hellfire Club's White Queen. I understand you call yourself something of a telepath. Well, Your Majesty, let's see how good you really are. She is scary.
Mm-hmm.
She is scary. Elsewhere.
I don't believe it. There's only 3 of them mutants. We're hitting them with everything we got, and they're clobbering us. That's what someone new here.
Mancusi?
Mancusi.
Is that how you say this
Yeah,
name?
Mancusi. Yeah, Mancusi. Yeah.
Have you heard that name before?
I have. Yeah.
Sorry, you said you have?
Yeah, I've heard Mancusi before.
Mancusi is a first name or a last name?
I think it's the last name.
It seems to me like a very unexpected inclusion of a name. Like
I wonder if it's a specific reference to something.
Mancusi, call for reinforcements. Get a squad on those upper level catwalks. Try to set up a crossfire.
Skipper, I mark only 2 X-Men. Where's the one with the tail? I'm right behind you, mein Herr. Oh, I've been aching to try this stunt again by teleporting as fast as I can punch. I can deck all these men before the first one even hits the ground.
It is awesome. Walk, balk, sock.
That's such a great, and then the B-A in between the people too, like
yeah,
that's awesome lettering.
And I wonder if Byrne left that room on purpose or if it was a conversation, but it really does work, like as if that stuff happens within the time period of the sound effect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, serious stares in this issue, Graydon. You're right, but Phoenix is like her eyes also being like translucent almost, and no eyebrows, no eyelashes, just like the creepy version of the face.
Totally
awesome.
Oh, I keep forgetting how hard that is on my knuckles.
You did fine, Nightcrawler. Hey, look who's here. Wolverine, please put on a shirt. Kitty, Colossus and Kitty. You're carrying her, Peter. Is she hurt? Oh, Lord, if anything's happened to the kid. She's okay, boss.
Oh, while Kitty was releasing Wolverine, 2 guards slipped into holding pen behind her. They shot her with high-energy stun bolt.
What happened to the guards?
Wolverine dealt with them.
Read that again.
Wolverine dealt with them.
Oh.
I'm fine, honest. I'm just a little bit stiff.
Enjoy it while it lasts, chickie. In a couple of seconds, you and your buddies won't be feeling anything at all. Clutch.
All of you get behind me. This man is mine.
Famous last words, freak. This baby packs the firepower of a full rifle company. Holy.
If your weapon had the power of an army, would still do you no good against one who can turn into solid steel.
Like, that's the best Colossus.
It is.
The idea that him just punching this guy in the face or in the chest, like this guy is now...
He has a hole in his chest.
He's just goo.
He's just goo.
Yeah.
He's
Your
goo.
Colossus is so lumberingly slow. It's so funny. Like, imagine that everyone's kind of like waiting for him to finish a sentence, like tapping their fingers and like, oh, okay, come on.
Yeah.
Graydon says the shadow on her face is foreshadowing. I agree, of course. Like all these hints that something is coming. I can imagine being, 11 or 12 years old, reading these issues and hearing the wholesome leader say, like, I'm frightened of my girlfriend. I'm frightened of this character and who she's becoming, and her power makes me uncomfortable. It must have been like a really kind of fun feeling. This thought that something wicked this way comes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a fun thought. Any cool letters this month?
Philip Albinus, David Stallman. I don't know.
The David Stallman from Covina, California.
The very one and the only.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, and then there's something yellow at the bottom. Oh, that's postal. It's something that's like shipping. Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Sometimes they highlight in yellow if it's like a special update. Yeah.
Oh, kind of a phoenixy face? Is that what you're saying? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, almost like there's like a Rorschach, like an ink blot sort of test on.
Yeah, I picked that up too, for sure.
That's neat.
Yeah. I am ashamed. I lost my temper. Now I am different. But the way that man called me freak, why is Kitty staring at me? Well, Peter, you saved us all. That was neat. It was.
Trevor says, someone's got to have a talk with Peter with the speed of his banter. Hey, listen, doing those Russian accents, especially a Siberian one, it is difficult. It's not easy to do. So you can lumber, you can go as slow as you need. I just love
Buckets over here.
his train of thought. He's like, that guy, I have feelings of shame. I lost my temper. He called me a freak. What?
He's now goo.
And a girl. Oh, he's looking at me. Like he just goes through all these iterations of thought. We still have to find Storm and Professor X. The prof split on his own. Wouldn't let me or Petey go with him. Told us to get a Roro. Or I should say, Roro. I've been following her scent. Lead on, then. Let's move it before this White Queen's private army regroups. I caught a telepathic flash from Jean that she was going to be after Storm. That she was going after Storm. I hope she hasn't run into trouble. Trouble? Not quite. At first, both women seemed evenly matched, but as the battle progressed, it became evident that Phoenix was merely taking the White Queen's measure. Now that she's learned her foe's strengths and weaknesses, Phoenix begins to attack in earnest. It's an attack which the help... Oh, sorry. I forgot about those dashes. It's an attack which the helpless Storm can only watch in awe and fear.
The Phoenix effect is so beautiful, yet so terrible, like Jean herself. I've seen her like this only once before, in the heart of the alien Macron crystal, before she saved the universe from destruction.
Way back in X-Men 108.
Ooh. We're weighty on that.
That's a great picture of her, like of her Phoenix Force coming out as she's fighting off weird green telepathy. Like that's booger telepathy in that bottom right panel or bottom left. Pardon me.
Emma Frost's booger powers are no match.
Power. It is normal. Like it's smart to give them different colors. I get it. I'm just joking around. Obviously, she doesn't have booger powers. That's for another character. Not her. Her power is a song within her, a passion beyond human comprehension. She is more alive than she has ever been, as she smashes through the White Queen's psychic defenses with contemptuous ease. And yet, she knows this is nothing compared to what she felt within the great M'Kron crystal. Bird energy construct is draining my very life force. Only one chance. Must channel all remaining power into telepathic cybolt. The White Queen strikes with devastating effect. What the? Psych. That building is where Aurora's sense been leading us. I was hit by a flash of pain from Jean. Through the mind link, an instant before the explosion. She must have been in there with Storm, the blast. It leveled the entire building. Dazzler, please do something constructive in this issue. Keep Kitty back. Just keep the kid out of the way.
I can't.
Dazzler, babysit. That's all. Just honestly, keep her off panel. That's all we need you to do. The rest of you, give me a hand. Jean can't be dead. I've just thought she was dead for the last year. She can't be dead again. I'd feel it. I'm calling you, lady. Answer me. Jean. By the way, when he says lady, it's the same as him saying mister.
Of course. Take a shot. Absolutely.
Take a shot. Okay. Cyclops' frantic mental cries answered almost immediately, though not quite in the way he expected. No sound effect, but holy cow.
Good
Lord. Jean, Storm.
Okay, so
relax, Cyclops. So do you want to try it?
Yes,
3, 2, 1.
Relax, Cyclops. We're both
none the worse for wear.
I'm afraid the White Queen
wasn't so lucky. And now this is internal. This is just her thoughts. Okay. It'll take more than a collapsing building to do me in, but it was sweet of you to be so concerned.
Well done, my X-Men. Professor X? I knew I was right in holding back and playing observer. Now let's be on our way before the authorities arrive.
And so, quickly, quietly, they make sure they cover Wolverine in clothing right away. 9 mutants make their way out of the complex. Sunrise finds them on Central Avenue in Deerfield, in front of Kitty Pryde's house.
All in all, my X-Men, I am most pleased the way you handled yourselves.
Nice of Chuck to say. Nice of you to say so, Chuck.
Dazzler, you have seen something of the life the X-Men lead. Are you sure you won't join us? I appreciate the offer, Prof, but world saving ain't my style. I prefer the excitement I get on stage, singing my heart out to an audience that really digs me. See you, folks. Keep in touch.
So she has like a different plane ticket? Like she's not she's taking away off in the van? Looks like she leaves in like a little VW or
yeah. Well, her friend showed up and, back to Tribeca, I guess. I don't know.
I'm just taking a close look here. You say her friend showed up. Does it say that?
No.
So it's Nightcrawler sitting on the edge of the van.
Yeah.
They've miscolored him in my edition, so he's just orange.
Okay.
But it's Nightcrawler there, and so she just hops in the van and goes.
Yep.
And
Nightcrawler drives her to O'Hare. So Nightcrawler's driving that van because that's the next thing they say.
Okay. Oh, good. Thank you for clarifying that. Nightcrawler will drive her out to O'Hare. Man, what am I doing thinking about these things? I'll have to just read the next panel. Drive her to O'Hare Airport and put her on a flight back to New York. Professor, we know nothing about Dazzler, yet she now knows of the X-Men, in and out of costume.
I did a peripheral mind scan of her, Scott. Dazzler can be trusted.
Kitty!
Oh, baby, we were so worried. You were gone all night. We didn't know what had happened. We called the police. Where have you been? Hi, Dad. Hi, Mom.
Uh-oh. If those are Kitty's parents, Professor, I think we may have a bit of explaining to do.
Good morning, Mr. Pride.
Shove it, mister! What have you been doing with my daughter? She goes off with your students, disappears, you disappeared, the malt shop was burned to the ground. We thought she'd been killed till the police identified the bodies they found.
Gee, Mom, there's no need to make a fuss. I'm okay.
Enough's enough. I don't know what your game is, mister, but it's good to see you again. My wife and I were very impressed by your presentation yesterday. In fact, we've been discussing you and your School for Gifted Youngsters quite a lot since you left.
It's nice to hear, Mr. Pride.
Call me Carmen. Huh? Suddenly he's all sweetness and light, and the professor seems as surprised as me. But if he didn't change Pride's mind, who? Jean, you didn't. Just doing what comes naturally. I know you don't approve of me or the professor using our psi powers like this, Scott. But Kitty's father wasn't about to listen to reason. To spare everyone a lot of grief, a lot of unnecessary grief, I modified his and his wife's memories a little. No harm done, and there's an end to it. We have brunch makings in the fridge. You're all welcome to join us.
It will be our pleasure, Carmen. Scott, did Jean do what I think she did?
She used her telepathic abilities against an innocent person's mind, something that used to be an anathema to her. Aurora, you were in the lab when she fought the White Queen. What was it? What was she like?
Not human. When she uses her power as Phoenix, there's a ferocity about her and a grandeur. She has changed so much.
Yet, she hasn't changed at all. Maybe we're imagining things.
You don't believe that. We both sense a wrongness about her. There's a dark side to the Phoenix that could consume her. It's almost as if something or someone was manipulating her, perhaps in the sky behind me, helping that wrongness to grow. If that is the case, we must find out who or what is doing this before it is too late.
And so we can keep Wolverine in his cowboy leisure suit as long as possible. And Hellfire is their name.
That is the name.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Man, probably my favorite story arc ever. I miss when the X books were like this, for sure. I love that there's this, again, like things end great, but things aren't okay. You know, like something is coming, and they all know.
It ain't
And,
good.
No, it's not good at all, but it's great. Cool ending. You know, they defeat Emma Frost. I've never been a huge fan of endings that are how do you say just mind against mind.
Oh, sure. Okay.
I much prefer something more strategic and a little bit more of a physical confrontation. But I do want to share, and I don't have a great way to do this, the classic X-Men that I'm reading.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Let me just... so
I've seen that. I might have that, actually.
Cool cover by Steve Lytle. You know, beautiful figures and dramatic. And, you know, it's that highlight moment from the whole thing. But on the inside, man, I want you to see this.
Ooh.
3 of them in that little cell. Look at that Wolverine face. Fantastic. And the backup issue, the backup story is Rick Leonardi on pencils, which is like another X-Men 80s classic guy. And Fabian Nicieza, who gets on X books pretty prominently long after I'm done. And it's a Dazzler story.
Wow.
I missed, like, that's not the cover. Where's the backup cover? But they don't really have it. It's just like a story with Dazzler on roller skates. And Leonardi is a fun, energetic penciler.
Yep.
But it's no longer something that we kind of, you know, it doesn't do the same magic that John Bolton, Chris Claremont stuff. Like, I don't know. It's just a different, it's just regular comics. It doesn't feel as special as they used to. I can tell you that.
The roller skates.
As I said last week, they were going for something for a movie.
Yeah.
And they were trying to capture, you know, this disco trend, get on board with some kind of multimedia thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Romita Jr. is part of the design for the character. And it just doesn't come to pass. So they just keep running the comics. And I don't know if it was a good idea or not. I get used to it after a while, but they obviously ditched the roller skates. So it stops being something that is specific to the character's success. Like her best versions don't have her in roller skates. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like her most iconic versions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like the 2 ex-leaders discussing the team problem. Me too, or the team / problem. At this point, you know, Storm is not the leader. We see that happen, you know, around what is she 201, I think, when they fight for leadership of the team. So that's in still a few years. But Storm shows over the issues we've been reading.
About a year and a half, we'll get there.
Yes.
201.
Storm shows over the issues we've been reading, like huge emotional growth, and she has like actually each character seems to, like, they have a certain part of the team's soul. Like she's a shepherd of part of, like, I don't know, like part of the team's heart. Mm-hmm. And each of these, you know, Nightcrawler, Colossus, and Storm especially, each have a part of the team's heart and soul that makes them really, really lovable characters. So Storm is much more than just their weather goddess, and yeah, she really is an emotional core for this group, which I love. The classic reprints were a huge part of what got me into classic X-Men stories. 100% with me as well. They were my way in. We didn't have trade paperbacks when I was a kid, so whatever you could find, this is the way that I could get old issues. So it was my way. What? You did not wake my dog. He's asleep on the floor.
Hey. No. I know. No, just no.
Yeah, dogs are fun.
No. Come here. I know. Oh, I know. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, stay here. I think it's because Danielle's in the front porch. So there you go. Go see, she's right there. No, dummy, she's right there. Oh. No.
You call your dog dummy?
I guess I did on YouTube. Man, I love her.
Yeah, my guy is he's just behind the chair, fast asleep.
Yeah. Anyway.
This has been a great week. He's been up here all week sleeping on the floor and destroying things. Yeah, not the ending I really want to see. I want to see Wolverine kill those guys, of course. And then later,
Well, is that
later comments,
issue 133?
I don't want to spoil.
Because if it is, I thought we were doing 133 this week for some reason. So I went and looked at the cover, and it's like Wolverine in the cover doing what he's doing. And I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, no, we can't jump that far. I'm like, then I looked at last week, like, oh, we're 131. But that's coming soon.
It's because issue 133, we're not going to be able to do live, I think. We might pre-record that one.
Yeah.
I'm finding out now there actually might be Wi-Fi where I'll be. I'm going to be out of town. And we're either going to pre-record it and let it drop on Tuesday night that week, or I'll talk to my consultant and see if we think the Wi-Fi is reliable enough to do a live episode.
Okay.
Either way, 133 is coming, and we're going to see Wolverine go from being some people's favorite character to the top Marvel character in basically one issue. Like, he goes from being, people know who he is, and he's like that guy on the X-Men that we see once in a while, but he's going to become an iconic fan favorite across the board in our timeline in 2 weeks. And it's very exciting. I was looking at someone's social media post talking about what a great job Claremont did in writing the X-Men in this time period, and how important it was to establish the characters and the team. And I can't help but thinking about, over the months that we've been doing this, how significant a very obvious, visible role Byrne plays in moving Wolverine from the background to the forefront.
Right.
And Byrne does not get writing credit. He gets co-plotting, but it's no secret that Byrne was pushing Wolverine. And at first, Cockrum wasn't interested, and Claremont, I think, got convinced, and obviously gives Wolverine the voice that we love, but to not think of Byrne as it's so complicated, like the writer role. It's not just the pictures of Wolverine that we love, it's the choices he gets to make in the stories that we love. Like, Wolverine as an agent, as an actor, does things that a writer would decide.
Yes.
And clearly Byrne plays a role in what Wolverine does. And it makes it, it's an interesting thing. I mean, we'll just give Claremont credit for writing. In an issue like this, we got to see, panels where a lot happens in between two panels, and that extended narrator, that verbose and rich, like, narrator description does a lot, where he talks about the pain Kitty's suffering or the intensity of Jean's powers. Really, like, he adds so much depth to two panels and what happens between them. And his love of language it also adds to my love of the book. That he gets so he gets deep in the sauce and just really enjoys telling the story with words. It's enjoyable to listen to and enjoyable to read. David says, David Cutler says, I read an article recently that mentioned Claremont never stopped attempting to kill Wolverine. Right down to it was his plan for X-Men 300 to kill him and bring him back as the new main villain. That's interesting, for sure. So are we to think that, like, I mean, they bring him back as a villain, then later on they redeem him again. But are we to think that, that Byrne... I'm not trying to say that I think Byrne is the hero of Wolverine, because don't forget, Claremont does go on to script and work and collaborate with Frank Miller on the limited series. That's not including Byrne. I just don't want to give Claremont all the credit for what I love about Wolverine. I think Byrne is in the writer conversation too. It's like it's a collab.
It is. And they identify such, like, a Byrne Claremont production with they don't.
But I wonder, like, does he actually dislike? Let's see. There's a great documentary on Amazon Prime that talks about Claremont's run on X-Men and a lot about Weezy Simonson and John Byrne that offers a lot of insight into what was going on there. What's the documentary called? please, if you don't mind. I look for comic book documentaries often, and they keep me good company. If you remember the name, that would be really helpful. I'd love to give that a listen. That's very cool. Yeah, just such a huge Wolverine fan, and I love the idea that that it's complicated. I like it when it's not so simple. I give it to just one or the other. That it's this mishmash of different people that add in these little elements. And he's definitely one of the highlights of this run on X-Men. Like, not just the team doesn't just go from being a secondary Marvel book, a canceled Marvel book, to being the preeminent Marvel book, but each of the characters goes through these growth spurts, and Wolverine goes from being, a one-time addition to the Hulk to being the face of the brand for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Claremont's X-Men. See, yeah, interesting. I'll check it out for sure.
Cool.
Oh, very cool. That's what I'm probably going to do when we're done this, dude. Anything else you want to talk about?
No.
X-Men related?
X-Men related? No, just again, excited to having that putting the little X Easter eggs dropped into the latest Marvel stuff. Both Doctor Strange and Ms. Marvel. I'm just excited for see what comes next. Excited for that announcement. Excited for that announcement, whatever it's going to be.
Next issue 132. Ooh. We get. Have you not read this one yet?
No, I haven't read any of them.
You gotta. Well, now you can. 132 is. It's another massive step forward toward Dark Phoenix Saga.
Who's shirtless on the cover?
Who isn't? I mean, come on. It is Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, Sebastian Shaw. But there's Jason.
He's the last one. Hellfire Club has defeated the X-Men. You get them all standing around, throwing bodies on a pile.
Oof.
And it says, winner of 5 Eagle Awards. And my price on it, oh, you can't see. $5.
$5.
It's in pretty good shape, too, I have to admit. It's in pretty good shape.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's great issue. Like the next
this is a great
2-3 are so good. They're so good.
This is fantastic, right? Like it's
I often think Louise doesn't get enough credit for everything she did, and it's really reaffirmed how important she was in the documentary. Yeah, Louise Simonson is like one of Marvel's secret weapons for sure. 132's title is The Unsettling Gimp Mask of Scott Slim Summer. Oh, I have to open. Well, I'll look here. Is that really what it's called? That would be adorable. That would be so much fun. Oh man, these are so good. I just went ahead too far. Yeah, you're in for a real treat, dude. You can go read it right now if you want to.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
Maybe you will. You should also go watch some X-Men cartoons.
Yeah, I know. I actually put the 90s series back on my list because I really only dipped into maybe. I mean, I'm sure I probably seen the first season, but check it out. I guess that's the first thing that's coming, right? Is next year is the continuation of the animated series.
Yeah, X-Men 97. I'm not sure what they're formally calling it.
Yeah.
No, it's called And Hellfire is their name. Not about a gimp mask. You lied.
That was the working title.
Good point. I guess I have to watch the documentary to learn about that. Yeah, you should go back and watch. Yeah, the animated series is kind of unwatchable at times, but maybe you can get Harry or Penny to watch
Hellfire stuff in there too, and
yeah. See if you can get one of the kids to make Daddy a drink or bring him a beer and watch some X-Men cartoons. It makes it more enjoyable for sure. We have a little bit of company, other than Dummy.
She's sweet though, but she can't make me a drink, unfortunately.
You got to work on that. All right, then I guess we can call it a night.
But before we do, I'll say thank you to new subscriber Cliff Woodbury. Appreciate your support, Cliff. Hope you're getting what you get out of this by subscribing to this channel.
I hope so.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you for the support.
What do you want to say?
Our comics like Peregrine's Londinium
Hey,
or Group of 7 Comics issue 7.
and we're going to be
Group of 7 Most Secret Tale or The Obstacle Course.
Other comics.
Or Group of 7 Comics issue 8 Fan Expo at the end of the month. We will we'll be there in full force. And
hopefully we'll see some of you there at Fan Expo in Toronto.
Fan Expo Canada and Toronto, Ontario. And then, of course, in September, we will be at SPX in Bethesda, Maryland. It's actually Washington, D.C.
It's Washington.
We'll be there to make everything right at SPX with our buddy Ricky Lima, which should be tons of fun.
Another creator.
Yeah. Watching X-Men the Animated Series is completely ruined after seeing Pride of the X-Men. It's funny how some people think that and some people think the opposite. I was definitely a Pride of the X-Men guy first. I think the animation is tighter. It feels like it was the same production as G.I. Joe. The quality and the voice acting was all like that. Yeah, it would have been a superior. The sequences are better and the designs are better. But that's my taste. Whereas... David says, I so disagree with you guys. Pride is animated better, but it's a pilot. Thematically, it's so much worse. Story-wise, it's all they're all choppy, but I love the animation in it. I found I could watch again, like the training sequences. I could watch them over and over again.
Are we gonna do that on a show? We're gonna break that down because I haven't watched it yet.
We have tons to do. There's so many side things that we should do. We just quit your day job. Let's do this all the time.
All right.
I'm so glad we didn't get a G.I. Joe type show where it was just the X-Men versus the Brotherhood every week. Yeah, I would have been bored by that too, but I imagine they would have dipped past the Brotherhood. We'll never know unless we make it, David. We got to make that show. I just like the production style, like the way the show looked. The muscles, the character designs, I like them better than what we ended up with. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll do it. We'll do that episode. I wonder if we'll be able to have it on. And we'll talk about that later. All right, dude. You're tired. I'm tired.
Have a great night. Everybody, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting X-Men 131 with us tonight.
Tons of fun.
We'll work on that dual Phoenix voice. See how that goes. We'll keep plugging away at that one.
We just get a little thing, like an effect on the microphone. We'll figure it out. All right. Exactly. Everyone have a great night. Thanks for hanging out with us. And
see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.